Hi friends, David here from Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting. And today I'm pumped, I'm excited to answer a question that we honestly get a lot, which is if you look at fixtures, say you're comparing some lights that you're looking to purchase, and you go, hey, we've got a very inexpensive light, we've got a kind of middle of the road, good bang for the buck light, and we've got a professional grade, a really high-end fixture, a really pro-grade fixture. Three different price points, three different, somewhat different feature sets. How do you choose and what's going to be the right one for you? Let's dive in. So when it comes down to it, there are really three things that set apart cheaper fixtures from more expensive. And that's outside of the really basic stuff, right? Like ultimately, if we think about purchasing a fixture, you go, okay, a professional grade fixture is probably going to be brighter. It may have different or more features than a more basic fixture. That's kind of like the obvious thing that is not really what we're covering here. Like for example here, just to walk it through, we've got a color key mover wash hex 12. Great little fixture. These are all wash lights. The color key one does not zoom. However, we often recommend for zoom fixture, the Eliminator Stealth Wash Zoom. That one does zoom and is, it's twice the price of this color key, but zoom is a lot in a live show, right? And so then we've got a Volux Sysma Z4. Okay, this is a nice mid-level wash unit. We like it a lot. It gives you a lot of bang for the buck. And then last but not least, we have the Martin Mac 1. A little bit less bright than the Volux, just a little bit though, not massively, but it has that pro feature set. It does some really unique and cool things. And there's kind of three things, as we mentioned, that set these apart. So number one, first and foremost, is going to be build quality, right? If all other things are equal, you're going to see, between this inexpensive one, the plastics are kind of cheap on the color key, it's kind of bulky. Out of the three of these fixtures, yes, it has the loudest fan noise, though these are all wash fixtures, so it's not too bad on this fixture, honestly. But if you get a bunch of them, you will hear some fan noise, right? But overall, really nice buy, really nice fixture. We like it a lot. Okay, so that's the color key wash X12, right? Next, we got the Volux Sysma, okay? The Sysma Z4 and the L4 is the newer version with better color quality. Still a little bit of a bulky casing, good quality, good features. The grade of the plastics and kind of the quality of the materials here is pretty decent, but not extraordinary. It's obviously a lot bulkier than the color key unit, and it's a lot bulkier than the third unit, the Martin unit. Okay, so when you jump up to a pro grade brand and a pro grade fixture like a Martin Mac fixture, which is what this is, the Martin Mac 1, you'll notice one, it's super compact. Everything, really nice metal on the base, really high quality build, really small, tight. The grade of the plastics on the side feel a lot nicer, feel more durable. The quality of the head, like everything feels nicer and better. Some of the ways that the clamps attach, the fact that you can do a non-Omega bracket type clamping on this Mac 1 lets you do some really good stuff. So that's going to be build quality. And like I said, in terms of fan noise, we're loudest, middle, not bad, but there is some fan noise there. And then very, very quiet. We'll pop on the screen here the specs on the Mac 1 noise level. Less expensive fixtures are not always going to have specs on noise level available, but for the Mac 1, it is extraordinary how quiet it is. And the loudest it gets is from panning and tilting and zoom. Okay, it's not from fan noise. And I mean, with wash fixtures, that's often the case. Build quality goes beyond just the feel of the plastics and, how roadworthy it's going to be if you're setting it up and tearing it down and using it in live shows where you're setting up and tearing down, because that puts wear and tear on fixtures, right? Or someone accidentally is too rough with it. Cheaper fixtures, they're going to break more easily. More expensive fixtures, they're going to be more durable over the long haul. They're going to show scratches less. They're going to be a better fit there. Okay, but there's more to build quality than just the feeling of the plastics and things like that. Okay, you're gonna find, say you take these three fixtures, okay, and you just go ahead and you plug them into power, and maybe you turn them on, maybe not, maybe they're in like a lobby, right, of a building, and they run 24/7, 365. Okay, I can guarantee almost without a shadow of a doubt that the color key fixture will die first, then the Volux fixture, then the Mac fixture. Why? As you move up generally between cheaper and more pro grade fixtures, the quality of the internals, things like power supplies and all of the other parts, are going to last longer. They just are. Granted, with any fixture, any modern fixture, you want to put it on a relay so it's shut off when not in use. But the fact of the matter is, and I've seen this time and time again, the higher quality stuff, the pro grade fixtures, they're going to last longer. And so put that into your equation, right? You go, okay, if I put stuff on relay, sure, it's going to help it last longer. But if I want, it definitely lessens the cost difference between an inexpensive fixture and a middle fixture and a really high end fixture. Because you start to say, okay, if I'm going to get 30, 40% more life out of this Martin Mac series versus this Volux series, then that might be a good buy because it's, only that much more. Or maybe it's not 30 or 40% more. You got to reach out to Above AVL and get a quote to find out. Another thing in that longevity question is that a Martin Mac series or a higher end Elation or Chauvet fixture typically is going to have a 10-year product sales cycle. So what that means is, if you buy some Mac ones today, they were new about a year ago, okay, and 7 years down the line, you want to buy some more. Number one, any Mac fixture is going to be calibrated at the factory to match at the factory. Granted, with 7 years of use on it, it's going to vary a little bit, but not massively. But you're going to be able to buy that same fixture, most likely, in 7 years. With, these lower end fixtures, the lowest end often, every year or two, they're flipping models. And if you got some of these 1 year, the next year, it may not be available, at least not in the exact same configuration. It might be modified a little, it might have some different channel counts, might have some different features, etc. Something in the middle, like the Volux Sysma, and again, a fixture we love a lot. We've been selling, I think they've been out 3-4 years, show no signs of stopping, but they may not make that model for 10 plus years. It's hard to say. They're not going to put as much of a guarantee on that as something that's aimed at pro level customers, production companies, people like that who, want to buy something now and want to have the ability to buy more in 5 to 7 years or more, right? So that's another thing to consider. Okay. Build quality, longevity is one key piece that I think is important. But next, the optical or the quality of the features is going to be another thing that sets them apart. So we've got some haze that's dissipating in this room, but you can see I've got all three of these. Well, this one doesn't zoom. I've got this one and this one zoomed in all the way, the Sysma and the Mac 1, right? And you can see some really solid differences at full zoom in optical quality. I think you can see it pretty well here in the picture where, this lens on the Sysma, there's some weird discoloring. It's not quite perfect. Granted, if I back off the minimum zoom a little bit, it fixes that. The Mac 1 shooting through the air is just the most beautiful beam of light. Like if I get it into a little bit of a darker spot here, you can see it's really well homogenized. It has a better color quality. It's just kind of this nice neutral white. It's a little bit soft on the edges. Like every feature is going to kind of be like that. Some key ones are, again, the beam and the quality of the beam, how it looks through the air, how it looks when it hits a surface. Some other ones are going to be color, right? So like, if I go ahead and kick them all to blue, and the color key is going to have some amber and UV on. So let me get those real quick, right? We pop them all to blue. We see really three distinct colors. And so I've got a nice blue out of the Martin. I've got a similarly nice blue out of the Volux, and the color key, not bad. But you're going to see differences in the quality of the colors that you're able to make. If you go ahead, let's just go with RGB, for example. And, we make kind of a blue-green. It's like, okay, similar to the whites, and I hope this translates well on the cameras, but the Martin has kind of the cleanest, nicest color. The Sisma is just a little bit less saturated, and the color key is the least saturated out of three. It's not bad, especially for the price, but it's just something to be considered. And this is going to extend to other features as well. So for example, if I just grab my mouse and move them quick, you can see here when all three of them move really quick, right, from one end to the other, back to the middle, back to the other, you can see that, the color key and the Mac 1 get there first. Why? Well, the color key's way lighter, way smaller. But the Mac 1 and the Sisma are honestly really pretty good competitors. And the Mac 1 is just so fast, so precise in its movement. Okay, that's going to be a little bit of a difference when you kind of hop up to that next level. And you're going to see that across all of the different attributes in the light. Okay, so like if we go back to popping these up, and we come over here, and we'll go ahead and mess with zoom. And when we adjust the zoom 1, of course, I mean, major difference in zoom speed, right? The Mac 1 is nuts how quick it can be. Or let's just run an effect on it just so that you can see it. So one, it can move fast, but it can also move really precisely, right? And it's very, very quiet in terms of zoom optic. The Sisma still has a nice zoom to it. At the narrow ranges, gets a little spotty, but overall works well. But it's just not quite as smooth, not quite as even. The beam characteristics change just a little when you zoom. Again, it comes in at a really epic price. And so, it's just something to be aware of. Like, you can get better quality light and better efficiency as well. Like, this Mac fixture is less lumens per watt, or less brightness per watt, and it's calibrated really nice, and it looks really good all the time, right? This is a pretty good amount of brightness per watt, but you're gonna notice that, it's not quite as nice of a white, not quite as nice of colors, not quite as bright per watt. Typically, you're going to see that between a middle grade and a higher end fixture. And so that's going to be your optical quality and your feature quality, your efficiency, right? That middle grade stuff, like, it's going to be pretty nice, and sure, compared to something you bought 10 years ago, it's going to kick butt. However, it's not the end all be all. It's not the best thing ever. Like the pro grade fixtures are going to give you better quality. Okay. And like I mentioned before, number 3 is lifespan or warranty. So I know that's a lot of information, and you probably want me right now at this point of the video to go, okay, between these 3 fixtures, and turn them off so you can actually see me, except for the Mac 1 backlight on, which is also really cool. You probably want me to say, hey, you should always go with these middle fixtures. You should always go with these higher end fixtures. You could always go with the cheapest fixture. But the truth is, as we always say at Above AVL, there is no one size fits all, and that's why we love to help people. Because in your instance, you may go, hey, getting the cheapest thing possible is my best bet. Hey, getting something that's in the middle that offers incredible ROI, incredible bang for the buck. I can get the number of fixtures I need in this budget year, and, or a lot of the fixtures I want in this budget year, and I'm able to go ahead and do that, and they're going to last, and I'm going to put them on relays, and they're going to be great. Or you might say, you know what, going with a pro grade fixture, whether it's this or like the Era 150 from Martin, is a better kind of fit towards the Sisma, and we have a comparison video here as well on those. But you might say, hey, I want to go with something pro grade. I know that they're going to make these things for 10 years, and it's going to last a lot longer, especially if I take care of it. And it's going to give me, faster movement, faster zoom, better colors, etc. Right? It's going to look a little better. It's going to be a little more tuned, a little more calibrated, but it's going to cost a little more. So these are all things you want to think about between the 3. Of course, fixture to fixture, this stuff's not always going to be true between everyone, but it gives you a really good idea when you're looking and when you're comparing to go, hey, is it worth it to me? to have a little bit better features, to have something that's going to probably last a lot longer, or at least a little longer, and have those pro grade features? Or do I want to kind of go for the best short term ROI, bang for the buck? Understanding it's a good fixture, especially running them on relays. They're going to last a pretty good amount of time, but they're not going to last quite as long as the pro grade. Okay, so I know we didn't have any big stark conclusions, except that when you're looking for lights and you want to find the best thing for your needs, head over to aboveavl.com. There are days of the week and customers that come in where we say, yes, the Volux is the best. Yes, the Martin is the best. Yes, the Color Key is the best. And we look across all the ranges of all the brands, and we make the decision and we help guide you to find the best thing for your needs, not the thing that's going to make us the most commission. In fact, we actually structure our quotes so that that really doesn't factor in. Why? Because it's about you, and it's about working with you over the long term to find the right lighting, audio, and video equipment that you need so that you can make amazing events. If that sounds good, we'll see you at aboveavl.com. Either use our contact or just add some stuff to your cart. You can generate a quote, and we love to help you find everything you need. While you're here, when I was setting this up, using this lighting wrench, the mini lighting wrench Black Shadow that we have on our store, made it so much easier. If you have not checked these out, definitely check out our review video and consider getting one of these if you work with lighting, even as a hobbyist, even in a church. They just make your life so much easier, so much quicker than using a traditional wrench. And this is all I carry with me now when I'm setting up and tearing down lights. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. See ya.